Now, the heart of eUnited has well and truly been ripped out. King Nick is gone, Spartan, but the soul has remained with RyaNoob and Rayne. Can those two boys, with the addition of Suspector and indeed Snipedown, make the difference? Can this team go on a run?
I think this team can go on a run, but it's just a case of actually catching fire. And if you look at who they could have played for their first series of the tournament, I think they'll be counting their lucky stars that they can go up against an SSG roster who have been damaged. Don't get me wrong, if SSG before with Pello God, they really could have put up a fight, but I'm a little bit worried after a late change. But you've got to look at who else is there. I mean, you've got Tapping Buttons. He is the LATAM region. He is what everyone talks about when you look at LATAM and you look at Mexico and you look at how some of these players have come through the ranks. I'm very excited to see what these individuals can do, but this should be a confident and comfortable game for eUnited.
The stage is set then in Pool D. These teams share a group with Cloud9, the top dogs, and they're a little bit wounded as well. Can Snipedown or Tapping Buttons be the difference maker here on King of the Hill Streets?
Both individually incredible players, and whenever you're on their POV, they are going to be making a difference. But who can do that little bit extra is going to be my question. We know Eric Rona, Snipedown, he has been a god of Halo for many, many years. I feel like this tournament, though, is going to be his biggest test yet.
Shields up, weapons hot. It's Snipedown with the rockets picked up in tires. We're underway, we're already rolling.
And we've already seen today how difficult this game type can be to try and manage, to try and juggle, to try and keep on your side. And already it's some early kills going in favor of Spacestation. So eUnited have to be careful here. 3 are already dead.
Massive confidence booster then for Spacestation as they take control of the early exchanges here. And they've picked up 1 rocket to boot. We're seeing eUnited spawn down towards bottom tram. An early setup for SSG. Can they make eUnited pay? Who run out down the spike stairs and lose 2 members in the process.
This is a fantastic start for SSG, and we've got Nugget on screen at the moment, the late replacement. You do have to remember, Nugget has played with so many of these players historically in the LATAM region, so it's not like he's going to be unfamiliar with them. And look at how many points they've been scoring. eUnited on the back foot, desperately pushing to try and get involved here.
3 go down for Spacestation. This push has been successful. They've broken it wide open. 4 dead for Spacestation now. Can eUnited start to pull through the gears?
Boy, did eUnited need that. Without just that successful break of a setup, it could have been 1-0 down, it could have been confidence broken, and suddenly SSG may have taken full advantage of it, but now Suspector seems to be heating up, has the confidence flowing through his veins, and points finally starting to be scored here by eUnited.
eUnited can't afford to lose this hill, as SSG will well and surely take control of the game. They have set up here though. 4 members of eUnited touch tight. Engagements go down, 3 go down for Spacestation. And eUnited are in control now.
Spacestation very keen off spawn to just try and delay eUnited here, to try and stop them scoring a significant amount, but you've got to win your 1v1s. Nugget takes it, Nugget wins it against the Bulldog. A big one to do onto driveway, but eUnited still have the player advantage, and Rockets are going to be spawning again soon.
Rockets about to pop. Snipedown was the one that got his hands on them last time, but eUnited will secure them. 1 shot towards the spiker stairs, will not connect this time. It's numbers advantage in favor. Snipedown hits the shot, the stalker rifle, and 2 go down a piece. It's a 2v2 on the map. Looking in tires. RyaNoob down to no shield. The red room collapsed, but Tapping Buttons does not know RyaNoob is there, but he goes down.
Good grenades from RyaNoob. But what a manic start this is, as points are being scored, and the point will be secured then by eUnited. It was definitely a rocky start for them, but now perhaps they can start to calm things down, get a little bit of control. That first hill always is mayhem. It's so difficult to try and control with all the angles you can be in shot from. But now we move over here to Station, where this is a far more comfortable hill to try and hold.
First hill was carnage. Can we settle this one down, gentlemen? Have a nice calm game. Rayne positioned over towards Commando, jumps out good trash. 3 members of SSG set up towards tower. He might be the first point of contact here, but he's up to wrap around instead. This could be the perfect little angle for him if he can drop down. Shots fired, bottom tower, information coming through, microwaves 1. It's 2 down for Spacestation, about to be 3 as Rayne locks in 2 and desperately close to locking in 3.
I'm excited to see what Rayne can do throughout this tournament. Chatting to Burns from eUnited, he said Rayne is locked in. He is a player who's just not missing at the moment. And I think if eUnited have those individuals to fall back on, even if team chemistry's not quite there yet, imagine how much you can do if you're hitting your shots, if you're confident going into every fight. And already we can see this second hill has been such a comfortable one for eUnited.
Chemistry is so important. Are eUnited still trying to work out a play style, a rhythm they want to do? They've had scrims things have been looking up after the Grunt Classic, but to do it here and to do it now with players who have done it on land before, they've got a champion, a multiple-time champion and Snipe Down on the team. Can he be the difference maker here?
There's been a lot said about, the pace of which Snipe Down plays this game and the pace of which RyaNoob plays this game. Will it mesh well? Will it work together? Goofy brought up a valid point. They've teamed together in previous Halos, so it's not like they are unfamiliar with one another's strategy and the way they play and the pace of which they play. But I will say that in the early stages of this game, now they go 2-0 up. This is what we were expecting to see. It was a little bit of a shell-shocked start with SSG taking some early kills, but eUnited really have settled into it now.
We're on the road to Worlds here, just 1 month away. I'm a Suspector 2016 finalist with Allegiance. How he would desperately love to be back on that stage once more in Seattle. Rockets in the back pocket, one to play with. Nugget's gonna come in and meet his demise as he goes down. 3 once more for SSG. eUnited are in cruise control.
Spacestation a little bit guilty of kind of funneling themselves in one by one at the moment. It is difficult when you are caught on that spawn trap, and eUnited really are doing well to focus those individuals and make sure they push, make sure they get those kills. And Spacestation haven't really had that chance to reset ever since they didn't get that first hill.
Suspector then. Bulldog in PD. Playing a little bit of defense, just setting up around the rest of his team. Information coming through, tapping buttons in tires. No longer, he's been evicted. That Bulldog can have such a massive impact in dictating the pace of play. And Suspector has got to be cleared out. He's got to be dealt with by Spacestation.
It must be a very weird situation to be in for some of these eUnited players to come into a tournament and maybe not being even expected to come top 6, maybe even top 8 is what has been questioned for this eUnited roster after their performance in the Grunt Classic. That's going to make players angry, and I think Wes said it best. If you make Snipe Down angry or hungry, either or, he is not going to be a person you really want to go up against.
Hungry for success, no doubt, Snipe Down. His stock has been quite low recently. Can he silence the haters, silence the doubters, as he so often does? Can he go on a run here? Atzo, though, looking to stop any kind of run, but currently sitting at 6 and 11. It's not going to be good enough, and for eUnited, they finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in LAN competitions. They cannot be a million miles away.
Yeah, it's slowly been a decline for eUnited when you look at those results on paper, but with the changes that have happened, the difficulties they've gone through, it's certainly not easy to try and just increase your placements when these changes are happening here and there. But maybe this could be the beginning of something new. As long as they can get to Worlds, you look at these 4 players and you look at what they're capable of, eUnited will be a real threat when Worlds happens, but it's about getting through this tournament. That's going to be the most difficult part. They're 3-0 up in this game, and it's looking like they're getting into cruise control now.
Looking comfortable. Looking calm and collected. Showing great composure after that early wobble in the first hill. Things have definitely gone their way the remainder of the game. Up by 3 now, and Spacestation have it all to do. But not only down the scoreboard, the time is going to start to play a factor very shortly. 2 go down once more for SSG. This is looking good for eUnited.
I will say Nugget doesn't look particularly out of place. It's in terms of statistics, in terms of what we've seen on his screen, so it's not like it's been a huge detriment to them with him being on the team. Tapping buttons maybe isn't stepping up and performing to the expectations that are on his shoulders quite sometimes, but a very difficult roster that you're going up against here in eUnited, and as we've said, an angry one who wants to prove a point. This 4th king of the hill is very much in control once more, but Spacestation are going to be rotating their way around to try and get a little bit of control.
RyaNoob recognized numbers were not in his favor and sacrificing a teammate to milk as much time as he can, but Snipe Down's got the opening pick here. Now they can start to collapse on this hill as Spacestation desperately tried to cling onto it tooth and nail. RyaNoob waltzing up, bottom middle though, over towards the cafe. Won't be putting in any orders as Spacestation shut that one down.
And eUnited will want to get this done in 4. They won't want to make it a situation where they have to elongate this series anymore. They will see it as a warm-up, considering how comfortable it is at the moment, but it looks like SSG, they are slowly but surely getting through this hill and might be able to put 1 point on the board, unless we see one successful push here from eUnited.
Has to come now, though. Tapping buttons stepped out for a moment. Will that open the door for eUnited? But they are 2 down here. 3-1 the score. Spacestation do answer back, but will it be more than just a consolation?
With 2 minutes left on the clock and the bottom hill to be played, the answer would be yes, it is a consolation. It's very difficult to come back when you are 3-1 down in this position, because eUnited can literally just slay. They can watch that bottom hill, they can make it very difficult for Spacestation. And now, realistically, eUnited can use this to make sure their shot is warm, to make sure they're feeling good about themselves, and make sure that VR is on point.
RyaNoob locks in one for his team. Backs down drift over towards tires as well. Numbers advantage once more. Not looking to step inside bottom middle, delaying it just a touch, and like you say, it's time to play Slayer.
And RyaNoob just waiting for the drop ball so he can use it to his advantage. He can check those angles, he can make sure that that bottom hill is not going to be taken. And it's going to be a frustrating minute and 20 seconds here for Spacestation, as they will desperately try and get some hill time, but they are going to struggle to do so. And it was an interesting kind of Mexican final that we saw from this Spacestation roster. Of course, previously, Pittsburgh Knights, it was a bracket reset that was required for them to actually win, coming back from the elimination bracket after dominating the region for so long. That was a surprise. A shame that Pelugod can't be here. As you heard on the desk, one of the best players in the region. But still, I do think this Spacestation roster can disrupt this tournament a little bit. But maybe eUnited is just that little step too far, certainly in King of the Hill anyway.
Because on paper, when we analyze it, the former SSG roster and this current SSG roster and Kansas City both finished in the same position. That was top 16. But is the ceiling just a little bit higher for this team?
I think when you look at what SSG are able to do in their own region and how consistently they are winning their region, and when you look at how you get to Worlds and the fact you've got points, it's almost a shoo-in that Spacestation are going to be at Worlds. So I think it's a really good idea to pick up this squad. You're going to be featuring SSG, you're going to see him on the main stage. But when we talk about the ceiling, with Pelugod, yes, I think top 12 is definitely achievable. But suddenly with Nugget, you've got to go back into practicing. And maybe at Worlds, we might see Spacestation start to pick it up. But here at Orlando, it's going to be very difficult with this latest change.
Two very different players. But it's eUnited. We're closing in on a Game 1 win, and RyaNoob meleeing the walls in celebration. Game 1, 3-1. The boys in red, white, blue. It wasn't as easy as we thought it was going to be, but they definitely showed signs of life, did SSG.
Yeah, it wasn't easy with the first hill, but I think once eUnited had tackled that initial hill, they had regained and wrestled back control. It did become a little bit comfortable for them. It became a position where they looked at who they were going up against and what they were able to achieve, and they said, look, let's just enjoy this one. Let's make sure we're getting all the call-outs on point. We're making sure our chemistry is right so that we can kind of use this as momentum going into the rest of the tournament. There's the stats on your screen. Snipe Down, 24 kills. I mean, his shot is insane. When you watch Snipe Down play, he does not miss. And if he is playing like that, he is going to be such a fine addition to this eUnited roster.
Snipe Down on land is a different beast. Taking a look at the damage then. Tapping buttons and drift both touched 5k, but it was RyaNoob clear of the rest of the teams, hitting 6,400. That was super impressive from him.
And we always talk about RyaNoob, you know, being the nerdy player, having the brains, but actually he has the brawn as well. He does that damage. RyaNoob's individual talent in Halo Infinite is unreal. He has so much accolades through other iterations of Halo as well, so you can obviously expect it to happen. But you add that to then the difficult moments to try and kill RyaNoob, because you never really know where he's going to be on the map. He just manages to pop out of all sorts of crevices and holes that you're not expecting, and he becomes one of the best players in Halo Infinite, that's for sure. And eUnited, they need to work from that. They need to find a way to allow RyaNoob to do what he wants to do, but also allow Snipe Down to do what he wants to do on the other side. Because when Snipe Down sees a play, Snipe Down wants to take that play. He wants to push, but you almost need to put him on a leash at sometimes. Say, wait a second, we're not quite ready for you. Then once the team joins him, this can be a really scary roster.
It's all about trying to find their identity, their play style. We've always talked about eUnited being measured, being a little bit slower than the rest of the teams, and Snipe Down has been criticized for being a little bit too slow, so there's the potential that he fits onto this roster like a glove.
I think so, but the criticism sometimes it isn't necessarily correct, because yes, he can play slow, but as I said, he does like to suddenly take the initiative when he sees it in front of him, and that becomes a very fast style of play. So I do think it's about finding the middle ground and finding something that works with the rest of this roster. And if it does happen, I really genuinely think they can shake things up at this tournament. And it will be nice for them, the pressure kind of off their shoulders a little bit. Once they reach that top 12, once they guarantee Worlds, they'll be thinking, okay, we've secured what we, at the very minimum, set out to do. Now let's push further. Now let's disrupt this tournament.
Well, Slayer on recharge is going to be game 2. It's eUnited, drew first blood. They hold the advantage 1-0 here. And if SSG want to get themselves back into the series, this is the best opportunity for it.
It is. When you look at the pace of which the game started in map number 1. If SSG can do the same thing, they can stay at that pace, they can challenge these 1v1s, a Slayer win is definitely possible. eUnited need to make sure they keep control of this game. Don't let it go out of control.
Snipe down. Eliminated. 3 dead for SSG for a brief moment. Suspector soars out and locks in 2 kills. Rayne picks up the camouflage. And all the goodies already going to the boys in eUnited.
We saw earlier, Ascend were getting all the camouflages on Recharge Slayer versus Optic Gaming, but they weren't able to make them count. Rayne wants to show them how it's done, does manage to pick up 1, and he's going to be looking for more as well. But look how he doesn't just throw himself and go for the melee and get that damage. He knows that he has the advantage if he backs off, and he can use that camouflage once more.
Spectre goes down. Registered 4 kills in his first life. 7 kills to 5. This one's still pretty close. Rayne puts a little bit more distance between the 2 teams now. 3 kills difference. 2 members of SSG set up over towards top control. RyaNoob picks up 1, tapping buttons not long for the world either. And they're starting to go up through the gears once more, and SSG are in a bit of a blender.
Really impressive how Rayne is reacting to the callouts right now, constantly checking those corners that clearly his teammates have done damage to some of these players, and he's backing up his teammates as well, making sure they don't get taken down too easily. You need a player like that on your team. You need someone who's going to prioritize finishing one-shots, because if you let them get away, suddenly a game could get away from you as well.
Rayne, a player who has been typically underrated in his career, but he is integral to all of the good stuff that eUnited have been able to put together with that roster with King Nick and indeed Spartan. He wasn't spoke about enough, but he can be a real difference maker.
He does the dirty work. He does these plays that maybe won't be appreciated, that maybe won't necessarily show up on the kill feed if you're not watching his POV, but without him, eUnited wouldn't have seen the same success they did throughout this year. And I do think that he is going to be a key factor to this squad in this tournament. 14-9. Still plenty of time left on the clock, of course, but Camo is going to be coming up. Drift wants it, but Drift's not going to get it.
Gets the player down to no shields. That's going to be Suspector, desperately trying to stay alive, and has done so successfully here. Clambers up towards that top plat. Camouflage still available. Right to the picking if someone so chooses to grab it. Tapping buttons goes down, but it's going to be a trade with Suspector. RyaNoob then. Down bottom middle, camouflage has been picked up, has it? And indeed, on the floor. Now here comes Rayne sliding in, doing that dirty work, picking it up and securing it for his team.
Can wait to pop it, secure the repulsor at the same time, and now blue is his. He can own this area if he wants to, but he very much wants to get involved and get a little bit of action under his belt, because now there is a significant lead here for eUnited where they can again put themselves into cruise control. I say that though, tapping buttons gets a big kill taking down the camouflage, and could that be enough for Spacestation to try and crawl their way back into this game?
Snipe down then with the shock rifle. Oh, communication is going to be so important here. Let's have an Astro listen in and see how eUnited handle with it.
This guy unknown, clearing red.
Playing blue side.
Okay.
You're alone, Tim.
I'm gonna go watch bottom A.
Yeah, they're all A, all A. I think.
2 bottom A for sure. Got 1.
Nice.
Pipes
Coming around, coming around.
Dude, watch out, pipes to ledge.
Half wall. Push an A with me, Amir.
Okay, go.
Pipes weak on me?
On right.
That-
Watch spawn.
Bottom A, 1 shot.
C plus one now.
Yep.
Nice.
Gonna be glass now?
Watching it, I'm watching it.
Pushing out.
C plat.
We're gonna need to meet to bottom blue. Blue.
Oh, I think.
We coming to blue. I'm in a weird
Yeah,
spot for blue.
I'm coming.
One shot long on me, got one.
Alright, I'm here.
Bottom repulsor.
Oh shit.
Top blue one. Two top blue weak.
One shot.
Got one. Oh,
Right
one
corner
shot.
as well.
One shot
Hitting it.
right away.
One shot, top blue. Two there.
On yours?
1 shot C-stairs. After C-stairs, the shots on Rayne.
Two blue. Two probably coming to C plat. At least one.
Okay, make the swords, 1 shot.
On cable popping, Magler side. Might go back to me now?
Yeah. Bottom mid one. Dead.
Dead.
Gonna be batteries.
Glass on me. One shot long. One shot long.
Top glass 1 shot, or 1 shot battle edge going into pipes. He's pipes 1 shot now. He's got shock.
So watch out ledge still.
Play long side.
Pushing on,
together.
We're fine to do this.
He's got shock
One shot
right
long.
somewhere.
One shot long. Left side.
Dead.
He's one shot. He has a grapple. Long again. One shot. Good shot, guys.
I'm dead. 1 shot still.
He's long.
2 shots.
He's sneaky with sniper.
Bottom middle, I think.
Might come back.
look
Mid
here.
C jump. He went up. C plat. Sitting C plat.
Glass look at me.
1 shot here. Glass killing me.
One long.
Pushing long.
Red BR weak.
I can kill me. Repulsor
One
right now.
shot sniping.
Okay.
Two long.
I'm with you right now.
Bottom blue. Jumping bottom blue.
Yeah,
blue.
blue.
I hear that.
You don't know him here.
Always great to get a little listen in to see how the teams are communicating. And one big takeaway I had was we spoke earlier about, you know, Snipe Down and how he wants to push in, how he wants to be aggressive. You heard it. Push A with me. I'm here. As long as someone commits to it and listens to that call out, eUnited will find success throughout this tournament.
And something I can't get out of my head is something that Snipe Down said, is that he didn't agree with his teammates in-game or out of game. How important is it to have trust in your teammates that when you ask for a play call like that, you can hear in the communication, someone says, I'm with you, yeah, let's go. How important is that?
It's unbelievably important to trust your teammates. I mean, I was part of rosters where I didn't really trust the teammates, necessarily their skill or their calls. You have to believe what they say is true, either whether that's, is it actually a one-shot? Because I've definitely been with players who call out a one-shot, who wasn't a one-shot, and that can get you killed. But also just believing and trusting that you can push with them and do that damage and you can get that kill and secure it, because then you can really put yourself in a fantastic position to set up.
You know, I really don't appreciate your passive aggressiveness. You can just say my name in future. But right now, 39 to 32. During the listening, we did see Snipe Down popping off with the shock rifle, and he's really put distance between these two teams, but all of a sudden, SSG starting to creep back into this one.
Yeah, only 7 kills. You know, it's still doable here for Space Station. I did say in the previous game, Nugget didn't look out of place. Only 3 kills at the moment. Hasn't been able to necessarily get himself into the game as much as he did in map number 1. Now Snipe Down has found the camouflage, can work with the rest of the team to try and start getting closer here to that 50 kill marker, with 3 kills going in favor of eUnited. Suddenly, how close it was for Space Station very quickly evaporates in front.
They know exactly where Drift is. Snipe Down playing this one patiently. Knows the backpack could come through here. Camouflage has just dissipated almost. Got him in a little bit of trouble. As we see, Atzo also desperately trying to get away and cling to life, but Snipe Down puts him in the grave as well, tapping buttons. Top elevator could be about to face the exact same fate, and does. Snipe Down's absolutely cooking here, only requiring 3 more kills.
You can see the confidence flowing through eUnited. They are looking for kills. They're actively looking to try and push in and finish this game off. They're not holding back. They're not playing slow. They want to get this done, and they want to get it done quickly.
Suspector, 16, make it 17 and 10 as he goes down. eUnited require 1 more kill. Is it going to be RyaNoob? Player down to no shields. Rayne cleans up the pieces, and they double their series lead.
And there was moments of promise, of hope for Space Station Gaming, but eUnited very quickly crushed any hope that they had in just 1 mere push. At any moment when eUnited felt like they were kind of lagging behind or they were struggling a little bit, didn't have necessarily control of the map, it was a very quick decision to push across quickly, push together, and make sure they secured the necessary weapons to really give them the control and the dominance. And that period of play where Snipe Down had the shock rifle, it really set them apart from SSG.
Snipe Down proven to be the difference maker at times, but Suspector there as well. Tail of the tape. What a game he's had.
Yeah, a really good game. You look across the statistics there, 17 kills is going to be fantastic. On the other side, Nugget with just the 3, and that's when you start to think about the chemistry with being added to a team so late. I will say that RyaNoob, even though he's gone negative, sometimes deaths are important. Sometimes information is very important, and that's what RyaNoob is going to be doing well. He's going to be pushing in, getting aggressive, making those entries so the rest of the team could have got all the kills that they did. We'll have a look at the damage as well. Who was the difference maker? Well, look at that. I mean, everyone on eUnited almost identical when it comes to damage, all playing their part.
Next time you talk about deaths and how they can be important for your team, I want you to think back to all the criticisms you gave me during matchmaking when we did lose that CSR. It wasn't a good day for us, but either way, it's not a good day for Space Station right now as we approach Game 3. They're down 0-2 in the series. Live fire, Oddball up next. Is there some hope for them?
Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to give you the spiel and say, yes, I think there's hope for Space Station because blah, blah? No, eUnited have been
Hey, I didn't answer the
far
question.
better.
I didn't answer the question.
Okay, would you like me to be honest?
I'd like a spiel first, and then I want the honesty afterwards.
The spiel is, yeah, you know, I think Space Station, they've shown enough. I think they do have the individual skill. But no, eUnited have been far better. Space Station are going to struggle here, especially when it comes to Oddball, especially when it's about setups, when eUnited really going to show their strengths now. That's where RyaNoob shows what he's made of, right? When you get the strategy coming into things, when his brains can really start to be picked for trying to work out what you want to do, where you want to hold that ball. But do they even need to play in that way? I think eUnited are playing with a certain amount of confidence now. It certainly showed that in that Slayer game with how aggressive they've been. I think they know that they are the better side, and sometimes that's very difficult to go up against a team who is playing with that amount of confidence.
And eUnited, if they win this series, that'll put them in the driving seat in the pool. They are sharing a pool with Cloud9 and indeed J Lings. So this puts them in a good spot at the bare minimum to claim second place. But have you seen enough from them that they can be a test to Cloud9?
again, it goes back to how well are Cloud9 going to play in this tournament, because both Cloud9 and eUnited looked shaky in the most recent online performance, but LAN is very different, as we are seeing eUnited really impressing us here in their first series of the day. As we start live fire Oddball, and now we're going to really get a glimpse of how these setups work for eUnited. How much have they put into the game when it comes to strategy?
Whatever you see online, one thing is for sure, LAN is the truth. And it's eUnited up 2-0 here. Sniper rifle in the hands of Rayne. See, moseys on down, picks up the overshield. All the goodies once again, like they did in the previous game, going the wrong direction.
Well, Nugget does get a double kill though, and that means Rayne is going to be forced to try and take the fight that maybe he doesn't want to, but with the overshield, you've got that freedom to push in, to get a little bit more aggressive. Gonna have to go up against a heat wave though, and that's never going to be a fun situation to be in whatsoever. A good start from Spacestation, similar to what we saw in King of the Hill, and that is going to bode well for their chances as this game goes on, for sure.
Weapons have gone down though, and eUnited have picked up the pieces. Ball over towards tower. Now down towards mud. Opting not to play it just yet though. Nugget picked up a kill under the nest bridge. RyaNoob, sniper rifle in hands. Can he find the face? Misses one on the tapping buttons, just could not connect, couldn't get the dots to line up. He desperately scampers away, then waits for the rest of his team to spawn up, but this is better from SSG.
I will say a fun fact from the eUnited Grunt Classic was live fire was one of the most common maps where we saw upsets. Whether it be Slayer, whether it be Oddball, whether it be King, it didn't really matter. We were seeing upsets happen on this map, and it must just be the pace at which it's being played. Sometimes the control you can have throughout the entirety of the game just from the starting strategy. It means that, you know, we are going to see upsets, and right now this is a bit of an upset. Spacestation closing in on 30 points. eUnited haven't really been able to get into this first round.
I do love a bit of live fire. It's where we see overkills. They can be tasty, I'll tell you. 28 points to 2 though. SSG go 3 dead. Suspector picking up a bit of plasma grenades. We'll throw one over towards the pillars. Overshield will be punched into the chest too. That is back-to-back overshield for eUnited. Although they're down on the scoreline, they're starting to piece it together once more.
He left it late, that overshield, didn't it? It was a slither of health before he was able to actually get that charge, but that's sometimes the difference maker is putting it into your chest a little bit late, and now Suspector is trying to get kills off the back of it. Will be a double. eUnited starting to get some kills on the board, but the ball time is of course where they're going to be looking. If we do see eUnited get a proper setup, that will be my question. Can Spacestation break it? Because Spacestation look great roaming around the map. They're hitting their shots. Individually, they are matching up quite well against eUnited. But when it comes to actually breaking setups, what can they do then?
RyaNoob looking to hold a setup, but he's lost 2 members in the process. Rayne and Suspector are in the black screen, and he's about to join them. The ball has been played. Snipe down sends one off the map, but he will be eliminated in the process, and Rayne scoops up that ball once more. They're trying to scrap for time here.
It is a scrap. SSG are doing really well to keep this as a scrappy game. That's exactly what you want to do against eUnited. Don't let it be structured. Don't let it be too strategical. And suddenly, you try and put a little bit of method to the madness. You say, okay, if we keep pushing eUnited, if we keep suffocating them a little bit, they're not going to have that opportunity to set up. And it might make them uncomfortable. And that's what we're seeing right now is eUnited uncomfortable in a game where they're currently behind.
SSG creating the chaos. It was Peter Baelish who once said that chaos is a ladder, and it's SSG trying to climb it here.
And if they can get to the top, are they just going to slip down, or are they going to suddenly swanton bomb off the top and really hit them onto the table? Because it can be a fantastic confidence builder at Game 3. How many times do we see comebacks after Game 3 goes in your favor, and suddenly it's a best of 5 that is going to be a potential reverse sweep? It's a long way to go, but those are the kind of thoughts that start to go through your head when you are in Game 3 and you're having a certain amount of success.
Oh! Drift. More of that, please, if you don't mind. But RyaNoob somehow mixes the chaos, picks up the overshield. 3 without a reply now, but Spacestation still hold the lead.
That's what RyaNoob does. He creeps in, he gets behind, and he steals your girl. And now, look, 2 and 6 at the moment, but it's going to very quickly get better because RyaNoob manages to get the 4th. All 4 dead for Spacestation, and now time ticking over. They are probably going to take the lead here.
RyaNoob set over towards green. Rayne with the sniper rifle. Sets his sights over towards the garage door, but the push is coming from pillars. This isn't a comfortable angle by any means, but he manages to find the body of 1. Locks in 2, double kill for Rayne, tries to get away.
Eagle team.
But he's lost teammates in the process and sniped down. This is beautiful from him. Rotation coming through to the fresh spawners.
Yeah, not just panicking and throwing it off the map that you might see from other players. Instead, he recognized RyaNoob was very close. He can get the ball towards him. You don't have to have a wrestle down bottom middle. Instead, you can have a fight out in the open where your teammates are spawning. 2 are dead for Spacestation. eUnited, as long as they can get the next kill, which they do, this should be more ball time for them.
50 points to 36 then in our round number 1. 1 minute and 24 on the clock. Could that start to play a factor? Could eUnited be thinking, let's just run it down, we've got a lead?
It's one thing that eUnited, I'm sure, will be thinking about. It's something they've done in King of the Hill games, but Snipe Down is the last remaining play here, but does have a heat wave. That's your best friend when you are the last man on the map, because boy, can you make a difference with it. Manages to surprise one potentially. No, unfortunately, the grenade's not really going where he wanted them to.
Heatwave can be a great equalizer, but not utilized this time. There's SSG who scooped up the ball, and they're now threatening to take the lead in the game. It's Suspector in a 1v1 against tapping buttons. And the Mexican backs himself and secures 1. But the trade will come through. And Nugget eliminates 1 in the window, RyaNoob. It's back and forth. It continues to remain scrappy.
Yeah, that clock really is going to be a factor, and you have to be ahead going into these final moments. SSG have the lead at the moment, and they're trying to get that ball away, but it's another overshield for eUnited that could really make the difference in these final moments.
4 overshields. Spacestation, as though they don't even recognize it's on the map. They're willing to play without it. But it's FaZe who have the ball, and they're starting to increase their lead now. 3 seconds difference between these 2 teams, with 40 seconds remaining on the clock.
Did see Nugget with a sniper rifle, but it was quickly ripped out of his hands after he got the headshot. eUnited gain the lead, 35 seconds left, and they can start to create a bit of a gap here before they even start to think about playing Slayer. Because once Spacestation maybe get a couple of eUnited down, that's when Rayne will be thinking about tossing it out into the open and just playing time here.
Looking at the stats, Rayne currently sitting with 19 kills, 10 deaths, with the 3 assists. What a game he is having, but this game is so close, it's neck and neck. If SSG can get their hands on the ball, they can claw this one back, but eUnited doing exactly what they need to make this a tougher task than it needs to be.
This is the push from Spacestation now. They've managed to get 2 dead on the side of eUnited. They are collapsing, but 10 seconds left. You've got to go now, but Suspector from behind enemy lines gets the double kill. That could be so detrimental to Spacestation.
Suspector punching a hole, 2 kills for him, and a double kill for Snipe Down. All 4 dead. It's going to be eUnited who secure round 1.
Round 1 secured, but it wasn't as easy as maybe I would have expected, maybe as eUnited would have expected as well. Spacestation, again, starting off solid in these games. They really have a starting strategy down to the T, but they just need to find their way in those final moments.
Looking at the faces at the end of that game, all smiles from eUnited. They're not feeling the pressure at all. In this tournament, Snipe Down, he's been here, he's done it before. And in pool play, that's not when the pressure starts to be cranked up. And you can see here, Snipe Down in the 1v1. Comes out, the worse for wear there. But it's frying from Suspector. Double kill, all 4 dead though for eUnited.
Yeah, all 8 dead temporarily, and Nugget says, oh, well, I've spawned by the overshield. Thank you very much, I'll pick that up, put it in my back pocket, I'll use it for later. And when he does pop that overshield, it could make a real difference here for Spacestation to try and get an early lead. They weren't able to get a proper setup throughout round 1, but they kept it scrappy, they kept it close. Imagine how different it would be if they could get, you know, a 30, 40 second point setup.
No points until this very moment though. It's gonna be SSG who open us up here. Back tower, desperately trying to stay alive with the use of a repulsor as well. What can he do to live? Not a lot, it would seem. A Snipe Down goes down, it's carnage. Rayne picks up 2 more. And Suspector will lock in a triple kill. All 4 dead. Sniper rifle in the hands of Rayne.
Rayne making it rain. There was so much grenades on the screen, I couldn't even keep up with the frames, but Rayne does walk on in, grabs a sniper rifle. He's hitting body shots as well. It was a triple kill into potentially a double here. It's going to be a cleanup, but eUnited, the confidence, you can see it happening yet again. On the other side, got to give credit, Nugget is keeping up with the pace of the game now. I know I keep highlighting him. That's because, as we said earlier, he's a new addition to this roster merely days ago, and that's going to be so tough to come into a squad and try and make a difference when that's the case.
Fantastic trigger discipline out of Rayne. Could have easily fired a few warning shots, but there we go. Kills going his way. Killing spree. And escapes with his life. Last man alive, ensuring that the Spacestation have to worry about him all this time.
And they worry, and Nugget does clean him up as well. Great shots from Nugget. Very important to take down that final member. It's one thing eUnited have done well throughout this series, is being a nuisance when you're the last player alive. And suddenly it makes Spacestation just think that extra bit harder about can they find that last man. But now, here we go. Spacestation with their first chance in this round 2 to actually get a setup, but RyaNoob wants to disrupt it as early as possible. Doesn't manage to do it on his first try.
Set up back tower. Heat wave and ball. Sniper rifle won't be a factor for another 25 seconds to change. This is all the score, the points that SSG need. The fights are happening elsewhere, and eUnited are being cut down. Numbers still in favor of SSG. They're playing this one perfectly thus far.
This is a little bit worrying for eUnited. When we talk about breaking setups, and I said, how are Spacestation going to do breaking them? How are eUnited going to do breaking them? They've got the entry onto Drift, but Atzo is a phenomenal position there to make sure he closes the gap and kills that player very quickly. And even though eUnited have done well to stop the ball from being had, the setup is kind of still there here for SSG.
eUnited just have not got tabs on the SSG players. The information just isn't there. And perhaps because this team hasn't been around for so long, that is why they find it so difficult to break the setups. They have now done that. They lost 46 seconds as a consequence, but they're already starting to heat up that lead.
Small mistake there maybe from Atzo not playing that ball. Was confident in his sticky grenade. He really did believe in it. He looked up to the heavens and hoped it was going to connect, but instead it means that eUnited were able to get a few points on the board. And Spacestation just needs to be careful with small mistakes like that, because teams like eUnited will really capitalize from them.
SSG still have ball in hand though. Has been dropped for a moment. Perhaps it's because the ball carrier was Nugget. He has gone down. But Suspector, he's more interested right now in the overshield, securing it for his team, but he's been tagged up by tapping buttons. Throws a frag grenade over towards the overshield, manages to get one with the help of RyaNoob, but Atzo has secured the overshield, and all of a sudden SSG looking a different beast.
SSG have remembered the overshield's on the map.
Yes,
that's really
important.
good. It did seem like they'd forgotten about it initially, but the overshield goes to waste. It gets very quickly annihilated by eUnited. 28 kills at the moment across the board for Rayne. The snipe down did have the sniper. That could have really made a difference as well.
More ball time then. A 1 second lead. However slender as it is. Got to this point in the last round. That was when eUnited stepped on the gas. Will they do the same thing once more? Snipe rifle was trained over top middle for a moment. Nugget down to no shields after that body shot.
Ball taken.
Being pressured is Rayne. Has to drop back. And SSG up to dribble the ball over towards Garage. It's the first time the ball's been there in a very long time.
We take the lead again, and this is almost deja vu from round number 1, where the timer starts to tick away. Spacestation have a little bit of a lead, but can they clutch up in those final moments? Here comes the collapse from eUnited. They notice 2 players on their own, and they take full advantage of the extra player they had to secure and pick up those kills. It's very easy.
Absolutely surgical. See, Atzo. He gets handled in the window, waves goodbye. 56 seconds to 64, but eUnited start to close that gap now. What do SSG have in the tank then? This game is not away from them just yet. Atzo desperately trying to stay alive behind the dummies. He milked his life for as long as he could, but there was no help coming. The player down bottom middle in rat tunnel. Rayne's the point of contact. 1v1 goes down, but RyaNoob there on hand to help, but trades is all eUnited need to do here to maintain this lead. 76 to 64, and all of a sudden they're creeping away.
Spacestation do have to be careful not to just be sending players individually to try and break setups here. They need to coordinate. There's 3 dead. This is the push for Spacestation. They've got the ball. Atzo has been able to put himself in the window. Overshield also coming up. This is the perfect time for Spacestation to break the setup.
Rayne opts this time not to look for the overshield set, prioritizes going for the ball. He knows how much SSG need ball time here, and it looks as though with the right call, as 3 go down for SSG. And because Rayne could get behind enemy lines, he's broken that setup wide open.
But there's that overshield tapping button, the final member doing something. I love this from Rayne. Get away from that overshield, get away from tapping. Your teammates are spawning towards tower. You can get a significant amount of time here, but are you going to be in a position to play that ball if you don't get the kills?
17 seconds is all eUnited need to complete the clean sweep. Can SSG break this setup? This is the last push. They have to go now.
One more push, and they are going to come from green side. So Rayne says, you know what, screw green side. I'm going to go over towards overshield side, and slowly but surely he can tick up on this time. Is there going to be a last-ditch attempt from Spacestation here?
Rayne scampering away like Captain Jack Sparrow into the night, and it's going to be a clean sweep for eUnited. They start off pool play as cool and calm as you like.
eUnited needed this. They needed that confidence builder after a disappointing performance online, but LAN is a completely different animal. And eUnited, if this is the beginning, if this is maybe the worst they're going to play all tournament long, I think we're in for good things as the tournament goes on, because I saw enough to suggest that individually they are all on point, they're hitting their shots. As soon as now you start to get that structure, you start to get that balance of how they want to play this game of Halo Infinite, eUnited are going to disrupt the top teams at this event.
Well, there were some people, there was whispers. In the night that this eUnited team might only finish top 12. They just handled a top 16 team with ease, relative ease it must be said. They're going to be a real problem for any team in that top half, like you say.
I do think so. And maybe a top 3 is a little bit of a stretch, but certainly from 4th onward, eUnited are certainly going to be looking to try and make a difference in that kind of area. There's the stats on your screen. It was Snipedown who did get the most in the end with 32, but everyone was playing their part. I will say that I've been a little bit harsh on SSG. I know that they are going through a very difficult time having to make that change. Individually, we saw some very promising moments from SSG. They were winning some battles that I wasn't expecting them to. They are some incredible players from that LATAM region, and I do think as this tournament goes on and that chemistry starts to build between them, they can really, maybe challenge some of these top 16, top 12 teams that they have played before, have beaten before. And if they can get on a run, they can catch fire. Keep an eye out on SSG.
When you speak about catching fire, Nugget, the baptism of fire from him game 1 coming up against eUnited, who are looking that hot. And when he steps in, he's not used to playing with these players. He doesn't know the play style, he doesn't know the setups that they want to hold. He's done a damn good job in filling in, but eUnited 3-0 and they move on.